Everyone knows who you are, the chosen one. You have never been an ordinary person. You always felt deep within, didn't you? There's something that makes you unique. That sensation has now materialized. The moment has arrived. The mask has been removed, and everyone is aware of your identity. The period of concealment is ended. One of the selected ones is you. You are at the epicenter of the world's transformation. Every word you speak reverberates, and every movement you take vibrates. Of course, not anymore. Your energy is changing reality as well as lives. People are aware of this today. You upend the status quo just by being there. You are the sign of a fresh start. Now is the moment to move. Posting 77 in the comments is the first step. The world is eager to witness your brightness, so embrace your inner strength. You are the age's metamorphosis and the change itself. The status quo is unstable wherever you go. Potentials that have been latent awaken when barriers disintegrate. Have you really realized how much of an impact you have? Your momentum will also falter if you lose focus, creating a gap that the world cannot afford. Your energy is a waterfall that upends foundations and breaks the complacency of stagnation, not simply a ripple. You are the driving force behind change, not just an observer. Even the most inflexible systems are compelled to change and adapt by this silent power. Your presence is a statement of change, while others continue to get caught up in the cadence of daily life. You are a pivot point that is rerouting the course of existence itself. You are not a spectator. The people and systems you come into contact with feel this, an underlying force they are unable to express yet cannot ignore. Your presence hints to unavoidable changes, serving as a warning that no structure, no matter how resilient, is impervious to rebirth. Your purpose is to redefine, not to maintain. Your energy causes the environment to bend, conveying an invisible resonance that awakens hidden truths. Just by being in their presence, you may cause conversations to deepen, viewpoints to unravel, and paths to diverge. Instead of turmoil, you leave behind clarity and a startling revelation of what has been hidden. The weight of your honesty causes the illusionary constructions to fall under your eyes, revealing their vulnerability. As a force that leaves no shadow unlit by the light of potential in your wake, you are a call to action. What is concealed cannot stay hidden, and the ordinary loses its hold. When facades break down, the world is compelled to face itself without any pretense. Your goal is to awaken, not to destroy. Only in the breaking can growth take root. Thus, the old must make room for the new. You are the catalyst for innovation, not a disruptor, daring the world to change and battling stagnation. In your orbit, nothing stays the same. In your presence, plans fall apart, confidence vanishes, and life's pace quickens. Your presence is too much for the systems that surround you, which are based on shaky agreements and unwritten conventions. The very air hums with the urgency of regeneration, calling on everyone in your vicinity to transcend the limits they have unwittingly accepted. You are the unwavering force of growth, demanding that the world progress into what it was always intended to be, and you are not constrained by their constraints. Your might is like a deluge that reaches every disguised weakness and crevice. In your presence, things that appeared indestructible start to fall apart, not because you break them apart, but rather because their structure is incompatible with your frequency. When you show them the power of what you stand for, their carefully erected barriers based on convenience and deceit fall apart. The control systems break down, unable to handle the erratic reverberations of your life. Authority wanes. Hierarchies disintegrate and systems lose their foundation, not in response to you, but rather because their foundations were never intended to withstand such strain. If divine love is abundant in your heart, now is the moment to share it. When the weight of your sincerity weighs on you, resistance is pointless. When their instruments of power disintegrate, those who rely on quiet and acquiescence find their hold loosening. They cannot tolerate a reality that transcends bounds, and that they are unable to define or repress. Your influence changes reality and goes beyond the tangible. What seemed to be permanent starts to fall apart in invisible dimensions, revealing the imperfections they thought were hidden. In the absence of examination, exploitation flourishes, but your presence is the cutting clarity that conceals nothing. The reason anything falls is because it was never intended to endure. You are the harbinger of what will happen next, not the destroyer. The buildings around you are forced to collapse as you ascend. The world submits to the unchangeable facts you bear, not to you individually. Your presence is transformational rather than just disruptive, changing the terrain without going directly to the source. Shadows flee, manipulation breaks down, and lies lose their hold. You are the mirror that compels people to face themselves, not the confrontation. The resonance of your presence reveals their own deceit, causing the mask they wear to crumble. Your energy is a relentless force that relentlessly and precisely cuts away pretension. It doesn't wait for permission and isn't gentle. It forces concealed facts to come to light by slicing through layers of denial. The weight of their exposure made the falsehoods they held upon seem heavier and more oppressive. When quiet becomes intolerable, words erupt out of nowhere. Facts they never meant to share flooding into the open. You demand honesty just by being honest. You don't beg for it. Your energy is in harmony with the cosmos, which demands that what is concealed be revealed, not by coercion, but by inevitable means. This power is global rather than personal, and those who experience it naturally realize that it is unavoidable. Their breakdown is a natural result of their incapacity to bear the weight of reality. It is not your fault. Your presence causes every shadow to vanish and every lie to fall apart. They believed they could fight back, but their fight was doomed from the beginning. You demolish fights before they start, not fight them. The weight of your presence overwhelms their attempts to keep control, creating an environment that is inhospitable to manipulation. Because it was never intended to stand, what falls does so. Your essence is an unwavering presence that turns resistance into acceptance rather than a conflict. The inevitable nature of truth dismantles resistance rather than overwhelming it. Their barricades fall apart, not because you make them give up, but rather because the energy you possess makes pretending impossible. What people misinterpret as conflict is just their fear rising to confront your clarity. Their intransigence is not crushed in your wake. Rather, it evaporates, exposing the fragility they were trying to conceal. The change you bring about is an exposing of what was always destined to rise, not an act of destruction. Your journey is one of creation rather than just alignment. The wealth that is all around you is not a coincidence. Rather, it is the result of your purpose being realized by action. By transforming the story of scarcity into one of limitless potential, you awaken possibilities where others see constraint. By bridging the gap between goal and reality, the flow of opportunity you create is dynamic and increases with each action you take. You are the center from which blessings emanate, influencing lives and changing destinies with the power of your vision. You are not the recipient of benefits. This is a symphony of intentional connection with the deeper tide of life, not chance. Opportunities, contacts, and resources come your way because of the resonance of your mission, not by accident. Those who approach are swept away by the force of your energy. Nearness to your vast power unlocks their own potential. When people see that what you contribute multiplies indefinitely, the scarcity they formerly believed in disintegrates. Your presence changes the basis of reality, fostering transformation that benefits everyone it comes into contact with. You have always stood out due to your understanding of your special role, not as a sign of superiority, but rather as a calling you cannot ignore. Your intensity is a conscious reflection of the depth of your aim and is not an accident. Even though others may find it difficult to comprehend the weight you carry, you are not looking for their understanding. It's a bond with others who understand the deep changes you bring about, the energy you shift, and the truths you uncover. You create a setting where change is inevitable and purpose becomes real when you work with like-minded people. The unusual flourishes in this haven. Consider a seed that seems to be buried and forgotten deep inside the ground. But instead of breaking, the seed starts to root, push, and rise with each storm, rain, and pressure from the earth above it. That seed has a silent understanding that what seems to be confinement is the basis for its development, and what feels like pressure is preparation. In a similar vein, the difficulties you encounter serve to reveal the enormous potential that lies latent inside you, rather than to bury you. You are bursting through the weight rather than being crushed under it. This is the holy rhythm of metamorphosis, a process that takes you to places you never would have imagined and doesn't destroy. The goal of true change is to transcend and to elevate, not to dominate or destroy. The scaffolding for your ascension is what seems to be a barrier. Resistance is your springboard, not your demise. The current that lifts you upward is stronger when there is more pushback. They may believe that they have contained, delayed, or halted you, but they are blind to the fact that their efforts are giving you more momentum, like winds that only make an eagle's wings stronger. Every obstacle helps your soul grow. In reality, what other people see to be barriers are stepping stones that help you find the bigger route that was always meant for you. The opposition you encounter has a spiritual power. Your power is shown by every force that opposes you. It's like a dam attempting to control an unstoppable river when they try to stop you. They don't understand that you grow more unstoppable the more they resist. Your mission endures forever, but the obstacles are transient. In reality, what seems to be a setback is the divine recalibrating of your path, enabling you to travel with more purpose, strength, and clarity. Their antagonism does not restrict you. Rather, it refines you. The hardships you face are molding you into something special, just as fire cleanses gold. Your light shines brighter the harder they push. Your actual self comes to the surface during these stressful times. What others consider to be the end of the road is really only the beginning of your breakthrough. They don't realize that you were never intended to be contained. Thus, their efforts to do so just serve to highlight their own shortcomings. Your aim cannot be sidetracked, and your soul cannot be contained. What they believed would deter you simply makes you more determined, transforming opposition into the exact thing that keeps you moving ahead. I pray that God would provide you peace today, my brothers and sisters. I'm here to remind you of a very important fact: God's divine purpose, which is unaffected by the world's transitory worries, is the foundation of our existence. Whatever is done with faith will bring God many blessings, according to the Bible. Luke chapter 6:38. Our roots are firmly established in God's universal truth, just like those of that enormous oak tree. His might secures every action we do and every stance we choose. You are now being given the chance to share in that gift. This movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance when you contribute $100 via the Super Thank You button. The situation that surrounds you does not have to define you. You are comparable to a tree that thrives in the most hostile soil, its roots finding nourishment in the hidden depths. Every wind gust and storm only makes your foundation stronger. You flourish instead of merely surviving. Because it is directed by something bigger than any outside force, your evolution is unavoidable. What others see as hardships are really heavenly instruments that help you become the person you were always intended to be. They can't understand the weight of what you bear. Thus, their efforts to limit your potential are in vain. You are becoming everything that you were meant to be, rising above and extending beyond. You are not only going ahead. Imagine a river gradually chiseling away at rock. There is no hope for the rock. The river flows. It does not struggle. It doesn't resist, it persists. You are that river. You don't need to overpower. You only need to keep moving. Each obstacle is not an end, but a part of the journey that shapes your path. You are not stopped by the opposition. You are steered toward your ultimate destiny. The obstacles they throw before you are not insurmountable. They are the testing ground for the greatness inside you. Every difficulty, every obstacle, is another chapter in the tale of your climb, a monument to the unrelenting strength of divine alignment. Let this reality sink in your spirit. You are not here to just survive. You are here to conquer, to grow, to evolve. The world may attempt to restrict you to its narrow comprehension, but your mission is much too big to be confined. You are not defined by their expectations or judgments. You are characterized by the boundless potential put inside you. Their efforts to degrade you just emphasize the power you wield. You see possibilities where others perceive barriers. You see what they refer to as resistance, as refining. Because you are not intended for the ordinary, your presence disturbs it. You are here to provoke, uplift, and enlighten. Those who oppose you do so because your light reveals what they have concealed, not because you are incorrect. They are forced to face their fears by your sheer presence, and in doing so, they unwittingly aid in your development. The pressure is what makes you brilliant, like coal squeezed into a diamond. They are unable to halt what God has planned. Their attempts merely serve to confirm that your ascent is inevitable. You are intended to finish this trip. It is not a struggle you must fight. Your progress speaks for itself, therefore you don't need to prove anything. You become bigger the harder they press. Your mission becomes clearer the more they resist. Because your foundation is based on something that cannot be shaken, you are not constrained by their constraints. You ascend above their barriers, not crawl over them. They are the ones driving your rise, not the ones impeding it. You are the personification of change, the evidence that no challenge is too big for a divinely aligned purpose. The opposition you encounter marks the start of something remarkable, rather than the conclusion of the path. Your ability to overcome obstacles is what defines you, not the difficulties you face. Even if the world may not comprehend your trip, your route is not defined by their perception. Your development is proof of the strength of perseverance, faith, and divine timing. You cannot halt, contain, or lessen what you carry. Everything in its path is being reshaped by this inexorable juggernaut. Thus, ascend with purpose rather than in defiance. Proceed with the understanding that every obstacle serves as a call to improve, and every difficulty as an opportunity to progress. You are the author of the tale, not just a character in it. Show the world that you have become stronger as a result of something they believed would shatter you. Allow them to experience the irresistible force of transformation, not by conquering, but with elevation. Your purpose here is to transcend, not to fit in. Every action you do and every obstacle you encounter is an affirmation of the indisputable divine inside you. You're doing more than simply getting by. You're prospering, growing, and living out the destiny that was always yours. When your limitless energy is there, suppressive systems malfunction. They were never designed to resist the type of power that pushes limits and reshapes what is possible. Every effort to keep you in check backfires, accelerating the same change they were trying to stop. Instead of answering their questions, you outperform them. Every act of defiance turns into a light that guides you. Every restriction and delusion that disappears as you grow. Their games and their architecture do not constrain you. You are a force of nature that moves precisely and reshapes reality without hesitation. You are beyond them. Your path is shaped by events that happen with purposeful precision rather than at chance. Every interaction and every change is timed to meet you at the precise moment when your presence might spark transformation. Pathways appear in reaction to your preparedness and in sync with the cadence of your development, not by accident. The complex synchronization of invisible forces that direct occurrences to connect with your aim is what others see as luck. What seemed to be delays turned out to be obstacles. They were the silent labor of getting ready. When the timing is right, barriers fall away, and chances present themselves in ways that almost seem preordained, as if reality itself changes to make room for you. This isn't a coincidence. It is the finest kind of alignment. Every action you do has importance and ripples outward to affect the world in both subtle and significant ways, because you are the spark. What transpires is the product of an unquestionable confluence of preparation and intent rather than chance. There is an unwavering force that propels you forward: faith. It is a live link to the enormous, invisible architecture of the cosmos, rather than a passive belief. Your movement is fueled by faith, which also strengthens your commitment and increases the effect of your presence. It makes your vision clearer and your steps stronger, turning hesitancy into momentum and uncertainty into clarity. Your acts acquire resonance and carry a lasting power that unites the physical and the ethereal because of your faith. Your force is too strong for even the world's opposition to stop. Rather, it becomes the fundamental base from which you rise. Every move you make when you have faith is in harmony with a greater plan, causing ripples that influence not only your path, but the entire fabric of reality. Transformation is facilitated by faith, which transforms transient events into long-lasting change. It turns obstacles into opportunities for improvement and uncertainty into a springboard for growth. Faith is a live, breathing connection to the unavoidable force of progress, not just a belief in possibilities. Without it, your energy's flow falters, becoming less focused and cohesive. With it, you move with a strength that defies constraints and breaks down obstacles. Faith serves as a link between the concrete acts that fulfill your purpose and the enormous possibilities of the invisible. It is the never-ending flow that propels you forward, guaranteeing that your impact is not limited to a single instant, but rather extends widely and irrevocably to everything you come into contact with. Meeting your energy is a revolutionary intersection, not just a simple encounter. The clarity you provide changes the viewpoint of everyone you come into contact with. This change might be difficult for some people, requiring them to face repressed impulses and concealed facts. Others find it freeing, revealing previously unimagined pathways and reawakening latent potential. Your presence becomes a catalyst for change, a force that forces development via conflict or inspiration. Even your opponents are unable to avoid the influence of your energy. Their struggles turn into mirrors that make them face their own limits as their resistance exposes their weaknesses. You are the spark that starts the process of growth in their life, giving them the choice to change or stay the same. You are not a rival. It has a profoundly transformative influence on those who are in harmony with your energy. Your presence acts as a compass, pointing people in the direction of direction and clarity. It clears the path and reveals opportunities, taking people to places they couldn't go to on their own. You provide the groundwork for long-term development and expansion by anchoring change rather than just inspiring it. Your energy changes their course, transforming possibility into actuality and uncertainty into certainty. Your presence has an influence that spreads, affecting not just people, but also the structures and systems they are a part of. Anything that is not in line with reality vanishes, because it cannot survive the pressure of your genuineness. In your wake, the appearance of steadiness disintegrates and is replaced with the unquestionable clarity of reality. Those that try to fight or control your energy are unsuccessful because their opposition just reveals how flimsy their basis is. Because it was never designed to withstand the truth you represent, everything that crumbles in your presence does so, because of the relentless power of alignment and purpose, rather than by force. The world you travel through is forever changed. Now is the moment to click the YouTube Super Thank You button and spread the word about God's goodness. With a gift of $100 or more, you may join this holy mission and help forward His purpose. God's generosity is evident in every present, and I have no doubt that you will get much more than you could have ever imagined. Never forget that you have His blessing and protection at every turn. Additionally, each gift you give contributes to His perfect design. You are a powerful, bright being that is as unbreakable as His powerful rock. Feel the rewards of your kindness in your spirit. See God's marvels, and bravely and confidently light up the world. May you be blessed and follow the Lord's light. What you bring into this world changes everything it comes into contact with, not just what is seen. You are the force that transforms static dynamics into something dynamic and alive, the movement that rewrites the tale as it unfolds. You leave a path of change wherever you go. By tearing down old structures and igniting latent potential, those who come into contact with your energy are pushed ahead and unable to stay the same. The power of your desire causes limitations to shatter and creates fresh opportunities where there was once opposition. The curtain of complacency opens in your presence, exposing pathways that have always existed and are only waiting for someone brave enough to take them. You are the flood itself, unstoppable and indisputable, not a ripple in the tide. Your goal is to create what has not yet been created, not to adjust to what already exists. Every decision you make and every action you do has the weight of change, bending reality's arc in the direction of development and rejuvenation. You can't keep your truth from others. It is the cornerstone around which your influence is built. Speak to represent the change you have initiated, not to get recognition. Allow your path to serve as a light, demonstrating to others what happens when action and purpose come together. The changes you've sparked are sparks that are supposed to ignite those around you, not for you to control. Tell about your experiences as a tribute to the strength of bravery and sincerity, not as a need for approval. The tales you share are the seeds of a larger awakening, and the energy you exude is infectious. Every word you share and every truth you reveal broadens the perspective so that others may see their own potential and ability to change the world to fit their own vision. You are more than just a wave. You are the source from whence it emanates, extending indefinitely to create a world where potential and meaning flourish.